And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cameron versus Potts. Step forward.
Samantha Cameron is suing ex-boyfriend Christopher Potts for the return of furniture and appliances, as well as rent money and a security deposit. Christopher claims he owes her nothing.
Miss Cameron, you and Mr. Potts were in a relationship. According to your complaint, you decided to relocate with him. You got a job opportunity in Florida. You went down to Florida, two of you. You found an apartment. You put down a deposit, first month's rent. And Mr. Potts went down to Florida before you did.
Correct.
When he got there, he had a change of heart. Is that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you have a change of heart, sir?
Well, because at the time, she wasn't actively looking for a job in Florida, and I didn't feel like she would be a real reliable person to share all the bills with.
So you were sort of looking for a solid business partner.
Well, I didn't want to put myself in a hole. It would have been easier for me to take care of myself versus me taking care of myself, another person, and a small child.
Because you have a daughter who was relocating with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, Mr. Potts, how much money did she put down on the apartment?
I'm not sure exact dollar figure.
You know the exact dollar figure.
Yes, ma'am. It was $877.50.
So my question to you, Mr. Potts, is what arrangements did you make to get her back her $877?
Well, there really wasn't at first any arrangement because the money that she put down towards the apartment is basically money that I put towards the cost of the moving.
Well, because you were supposed to move.
Well, I was moving.
You both were moving.
Right. If we're both moving, then we both should be coming out of pocket for money.
Well, how much did you pay for all the moving of her stuff, sir?
All right, I had purchased their shipping containers where you load them up yourself. Well, originally I only needed one. The pods were originally $850 a piece. I had paid the $850, and to get an additional pod was $850, so $1,700.
Show me that you paid for $1,700, sir. Show me.
I can't.
Why not?
Because I don't have receipts for that.
Where'd you think you were coming to today? To the beach?
Well, that was 7 months ago, so.
7 months ago is a minute, sir. So, I'm going to ask you again, what arrangements did you make to get her back her money, $877?
Well, I paid over $900 to ship her stuff back, which...
As well you should.
I don't agree.
Well, I don't give a rat's behind whether you agree or not. Whether you agree with me, Mr. Potts, is not particularly relevant in my life. That's why you come to court. I don't believe you, sir, that you paid $1,700 for a pod for you and for her.
For two of them. They're $850 a piece.
What I'm telling you, sir, is show me. Other than your great looks, Mr. Potts, what you have to do is have proof. Proof is a receipt, a paid bill for exactly what it was, and you don't have it.
No, I don't.
Right. You chose to breach the agreement that you had by telling her once she had sent down her stuff that you didn't want her to move there for your own reasons.
No, for the reasons that it was better for everybody.
Fine.
I thought I was doing the
Listen to me.
responsible thing.
That's a judgment that you made. Fine. But then, once you have made that judgment, what you have to do is make Miss Cameron whole. Whole.
Which
You
I did
have
by
to
sending
return.
her
I'm
belongings
speaking when my mouth moves, yours doesn't. By making Miss Cameron whole, you have to return her property to her at your expense. It would be untoward of you to think that you changed your mind and now you say you want your stuff back. You have to pay for the shipping of it back to New Jersey. That's ridiculous, Mr. Potts. Now, I believe him that he packed up your boxes and sent them back, that he spent money, as well he should, because it was his option to change his mind, thereby voiding the agreement that you had to move in together. Now, if you want these other items, washer, dryer, table, and chairs, you can make arrangements to get them at your expense. Do you understand? Because I don't think you really want them.
I do, ma'am. That was part of our agreement.
Well, it's unfortunate. I don't know if I believe you. In any event, he owes you $877, which was your down payment. Have you sent it?
No, ma'am, I have not.
Send it. Judgment for the plaintiff, $877. Thank you. That's all.
All right, Judge, excuse me. Step out.
We had an agreement. He reneged on the agreement.
To get her belongings back, I believe that was the motivation.
If you make an agreement with someone, you should follow through with it.
I think there was a little bit more behind it.
Just don't move in with anybody down to Florida.
Tricia Price is suing her ex-husband, Ken Sachs.
Don't go for jerks.
24-year-old Rachel Cooper is suing her daughter's great aunt, Felicia Lisa West, for an assault and for the value of a necklace.
Now, it's case number 81 on the calendar in the matter of Cooper versus West.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Have a seat, please.
Miss Cooper.
Yes.
Miss West is the paternal aunt of your baby.
Yes.
Who's the father of your baby?
He's sitting right there.
What's your name?
Thomas Robinson.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Is this your only child?
Yes.
And since he's sitting over there, I assume you're not together.
No.
How old is your baby?
She's 6 months.
You have a drug problem?
No, I don't.
Have you used drugs?
Yeah, before I had my baby.
Have you used drugs after she was born?
No. I drank a little bit, but...
What was your drink of choice?
Remy.
Remy?
Yes. Remy Martin, cognac.
It's pretty heavy stuff, isn't it?
I guess, for my age.
Who do you live with?
I live with my mom now.
Who else lives with your mother?
My dad.
Your lawsuit alleges that Miss West was babysitting for your daughter. You went to get her. Miss West refused to give her to you, and she assaulted you. Miss West says that when you came to pick up your daughter, you had been drinking. She felt that the child was at risk. She refused to give you the child. She says that you, in fact, assaulted her. So, when did Miss West start to babysit for your daughter?
This was January 2nd. This was the first time she has ever babysitted for me.
How old was your daughter at that time?
She was born in November, so about 1.5 months.
And why was Miss West babysitting for your daughter?
Because I figured the father's family never sees a baby, so I figured, let me give them a call so they could see her. So in turn, they came to pick me up, and she decided to watch the baby. She offered to take care of the baby.
All right. She said what to you?
She said, oh, I could watch her for you. You could go out and have a good time.
And did you do that?
Yes.
That was on January 2nd?
Yes.
What time?
This was probably in the evening around 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Good. When did you come back?
I came back the next day.
Where did you go that night?
I was with her niece, Katie, and Lisa's daughter, and some of her nieces.
Where did you sleep that night?
At her sister's house.
Okay, so the next day you came back on January the 3rd.
Yes.
What time?
I came back around 10 o'clock in the morning.
Go ahead.
So I went over there, was with my baby for that whole day.
Was Miss West at home?
Yes, she was at home.
Okay, keep going.
So anyways, that same day, she ends up telling me that, it's time for me to go home. I said, okay. She says, but you could leave your baby here and I could watch her for you overnight. I said, oh, no, that's okay. I could go home. She's like, are you sure you're going to be able to take care of the baby because you've been drinking? I said, of course I'll be able to take care of my baby. I'm fine.
Had you been drinking on the 3rd?
Yes, I was drinking a little bit. It was New Year's, so, yeah.
No, the 3rd is not New Year's.
Yeah.
New Year's is December 31st. The 3rd is not New Year's. On the 3rd of January, had you been drinking?
Yes.
What were you drinking? The Remy?
Yeah.
And then you wanted to take the baby home?
Yes, so.
And she said no.
She didn't want me to take my baby home. I said, well, can I stay here? She didn't want me to stay at her house. She's like, oh, I'll take care of her. She's like, don't worry about it. Go home and relax. She's like, because, you're a new mom and you do need a break, and Thomas is nowhere around to be found. He hasn't called or
keep going.
anything.
Come on, move it.
So anyway, so I go home. She drops me off at home. My mom asks, where's the baby? So I said, oh, Lisa's taking care of her. She says, oh, really? So I said, would you like to call her? So she calls her, and Lisa gets on the phone and said, oh, well, do you want me to call CPS? And there's no reason to involve CPS for anything. I don't know why she said that. So we go pick up my daughter, and she doesn't know that I'm coming to pick up my daughter. I go in the house, and when I go in her bedroom, she's shocked to see me.
Who let you in?
Her husband let me in. So when I busted in the room, she was sitting with my baby. My baby was stuffed in her chest. She had a pillow behind her back, and she was sitting cross-legged. She said, what are you doing here? I said, give me my baby, Lisa. She snatched the baby. She said, no. I said, what do you mean? I can't have my baby? She said, no, do you want me to call CPS? I said, for what? Why are you going to call CPS for? So she refuses to give me my daughter. So I have to call my mom to tell my mom to come in the house saying she's not giving me my baby. So then she decides.
How did you get there?
My mom gave me a ride.
You mean your mother gave you a ride and then just dropped you off?
No, she was waiting outside for me.
Okay, go ahead.
So then she decides finally to give me my daughter. So my mom comes in the house, and I'm like, Mom, she's not letting me leave with my baby. She says, oh, no, don't let them leave. She was telling Katie and everybody in the house, don't let her leave. Don't let her leave. So they block all possible entries so me and my mom cannot get out with my daughter. My baby started crying. My mom was holding the baby. So my mom said, oh, do you have a bottle so I could feed my granddaughter? Lisa's like, no, let me feed her. She tries to go to my mom and tries to tear my baby out of my mom's arms. So that's when I gave me to her. I'm like, what are you doing? No. So she comes back to me, grabs me by my jacket, and slams me all the way against the wall. Then she grabs me and slams me all the way down on the bathroom floor and starts choking me. It took 3 people to try to get her off of me. Her husband was in the kitchen, finally decides to get up to come get her off of me. And then she's still trying to fight. She's still trying to come attack me. And then when the police comes, she tells them that I attacked her, which was wrong.
Okay, Miss West, now I'll hear you.
Well, it started January the 1st. My niece and my daughter comes home with Rachel. My niece Katie tells me that Rachel called my daughter Caroline to pick her up from this hotel on West MacArthur.
Katie, stand up. Tell me what you saw when you got to the hotel.
Okay, Rachel was drinking with some guy, and the baby was just crying, and it just seemed like the baby...
How did you get to the hotel?
I drove.
Who had you heard from that caused you to go to the hotel?
My cousin.
Who were you in the hotel with?
I was with my friend. He was helping me.
What's his name?
His name is Jose.
And what were you drinking with Jose?
I'm drinking some Remy.
Go ahead.
Anyway, I took the baby from Rachel because she was crying. I rubbed her stomach. It seemed like she had colic. And I said, Rachel, do you burp your baby after you feed her? Rachel said, no. This is my first child. I really don't know what I'm doing. I said, you know what, Rachel? This don't make no sense. Give me this baby. Me and my cousins take the baby. We go get the baby some medication. Rachel is not even coherent enough to give her baby the medication.
Your Honor.
Put your hands down. I don't think you're adorable. I don't think you're cute. I'm going to hear from your mother because, quite frankly, unless your mother is totally together, I'm calling CPS on you. You understand that?
Yes.
You understand why?
Why?
Remy.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She is incapable of taking care of a child.
I'm not incapable.
Incapable. She has no judgment. Zero judgment.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Rachel Cooper says she was assaulted during a custody exchange by her daughter's great aunt, Felicia Lisa West. Felicia claims Rachel is an unfit mother and is countersuing also for assault.
Stand up. Who has legal custody of this child?
Rachel.
Well, that better change. That better change. She is in no position to have legal custody of this child. And unless somebody who's responsible has custody of this child, Child Protective Services is going to take the child and give the child to a stranger. Maybe to Miss West. Who knows? Your daughter is acting irresponsibly. Don't you understand that?
I do understand, but I do not understand the reason why Miss West had to assault her. That I don't understand.
Listen to me. I don't understand why you would allow your daughter, who was intoxicated, which she clearly was on the 3rd of January, to go back to Miss West's house and tell her to go inside and take the baby. If you felt as if you didn't want to leave the baby with Miss West and you wanted the baby to come home with you, then you go inside, and maybe you could have had a civilized discussion with Miss West. Instead, you send her inside, and she has no brain. I mean, didn't you hear what she said? This lady is telling me the truth. She went to a motel, found your daughter in a motel with your granddaughter crying, and she's sitting with some jerk drinking Remy.
No, Your Honor, my daughter was crying because I didn't know what was going on. I was holding my baby, Your Honor.
Because you didn't know that you needed to burp her.
Just a second. You didn't know what year it was,
I was burping my daughter, Your Honor.
What were you doing in a motel with a guy drinking Remy?
Because I was expecting to see if the father would call me on New Year's to come by. That's why I got the hotel room. I was with my friend. He was helping me take care of my baby instead of the father.
He was helping you by sitting with you in a motel drinking?
He was holding her, helping me, trying to calm her down too, Your Honor.
What's your last name?
Jimenez.
Miss Jimenez, do you get it? She is incapable of taking care of a child.
I'm not incapable.
Incapable.
My daughter is well taken care of.
She has no judgment. Zero judgment. And this baby is going to get hurt. Did you just hear what she said to me, Miss Jimenez? She said she took a motel room, hoping that the baby's father would call her on New Year's Eve. And later, she's still in the motel room with Jose, drinking Remy with the baby. Do you get it? You're shaking your head. The only reason you're off the hook is that there's not enough room for you up there.
Ma'am, she
because
took
when
my
you make
child from me.
Because when you make a baby, you're supposed to be able to take care of a baby.
And I was. And I provided a roof over her head till she decided to take my baby and leave with everything.
Then you go to court.
And that's what I'm doing,
He hasn't
ma'am.
been doing anything.
Then you go to court. What?
When I took her to pick the baby, she was not drunk.
She had been drinking all day. She said she had been drinking all day.
I wasn't drinking all day. That's when I was drinking during the daytime, Your Honor. Then I wanted to go home with my daughter. She told me I could stay at her house, but then refused for me not to stay at her house.
I heard you. Did you know where your daughter was on January 1st with the baby in the motel? Just answer my question. Did you know where your daughter was on January 1st in the motel?
Yes.
And you
But
thought...
not in the motel, Your Honor. She was at home.
She was in a motel with Jose.
Then she went there because she
So
wanted
I'm asking you... Listen, I'm asking you, did you know that she was in a motel with Jose?
I did not know until afterwards.
That's what I want to know. Does it surprise you to know she was in a motel with Jose drinking?
I was surprised to know that she was
all
there.
I want. That's all I want to know. So far, maybe there's a light at the end of your tunnel. Maybe.
Your Honor, I'm a very good mom. I'm a very good mom. My daughter does not want for anything. She's well taken care of.
Listen
That
to
was
me.
just that
Miss
one
West,
night.
Did you call CPS?
Yes, I did.
Did they do an investigation?
The person that was doing the investigation got sick, and I called and talked to the person that took over the case. They've been trying to contact and locate Rachel, which they have been unsuccessfully at.
Is she living in your house?
Yes.
Did she sleep at your house last week? Listen, Miss Jimenez, you answer my question.
Yes.
Did she sleep at your house every night last week?
Yes.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe her?
I don't believe you.
I'm at my house every single day, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm not comfortable. So we're going to send this to Child Protective Services, just to be on the safe side, because I'm not hearing any reasoned response by this lady to her daughter's behavior. Drunk people don't take care of children. People who drink don't take care of children. They leave them with other responsible people. And if they don't leave them with other responsible people, then they're neglectful.
I am not a neglectful mother. I was only drinking for that one day, Your Honor. I don't drink every single day.
Well, listen to me, my dear.
But
I'm speaking to you. According to you, I only asked you about 3 days, January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And according to your testimony, you drank on January 1st, January 2nd, January 3rd. That's according to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Mother said, I'm leaving, we leaving. So Rachel was behind me, and she said, no, get away from my baby. Get away from, I'm taking my baby. And popped me upside the head.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Rachel Cooper is accusing her daughter's great-aunt, Felicia Lisa West, of assaulting her during a custody exchange.
Now, you say that she assaulted you?
Yes.
Tell me what she did.
First of all, we all decided on January the 2nd that Rachel was still under the influence of alcohol and other substance abuse. We all decided that Rachel needed a little bit more time to get herself together. Therefore, my husband and I told Rachel we'd be more than happy to watch her until she get herself together.
You watch the baby?
The child, yes. So Rachel said, but I want to stay. I said, well, Rachel, you can't stay because I don't have enough room to house you. So my husband and I drove her home. So that was that. So my husband and I proceeded back home, got home. Then she had called and said, I want to come and get my baby. I said, let me speak to your mother. So her mother got on the phone. I said, well, the baby is fine. I said, she's asleep, and David and I, which is my husband, is going to take care of the child. Then the mother said, no, the baby needs to be home with Rachel.
No,
Rachel needs to take care of her own baby. But I said, but Rachel's not in any condition at this time. I said, you really need to pay attention to your daughter. I said, take this time to really analyze your daughter. She said, well, it's nothing wrong with her. I said to myself, well, she's a fool. I said, Rachel is on drugs. I just came out and told the mother. The mother said, oh, that's what you say. Then she hung up the phone.
Okay, there came a time that she came back to your house. Her mother brought her there. Now I want to skip to that point.
Okay, when Rachel came to my house, I was in my bedroom. The baby was asleep, and Rachel came in there. I want my baby. I said, Rachel, I've made it perfectly clear you're not in any conditions to see to this child. I said, you've been drinking for the last 3 days, and you've been smoking weed, crystal, what they call mushrooms. I said, you really need to just calm down, you know, get yourself together. She said, no, give me my baby, give me my baby. I said, Rachel, I can't give you your baby. I said, anyway, how did you get here? She said, my mother brought me. I said, well, I need to talk to your mother then. So I told my husband, David, to go out there and see was her mother actually out there. Then Rachel would say, no, no, just give me my baby, just give me my baby. I said, Rachel, I'm here to help you. I don't want to call the police and report you to CPS. I said, you're not leaving me any alternative. At that point, her mother came in. Then I gave her the baby. Then I talked to her mother, Tina. I said, Rachel is not in any condition to provide for this child, but if you tell me that you're going to take care of this baby and be solely responsible for this child, I can give the child to you. Then she said, well, that's Rachel's responsibility. I'll help her. I said, oh, no. I said, you're going to tell me you're going to help her? I said, she can't help herself at this time. So mother said, I'm leaving, we leaving. Then I said, no, you have to wait for the police. So Rachel was behind me, and she said, no, no, get away from my baby. Get away from, I'm taking my baby. And popped me upside the head.
She's lying, Your Honor.
I don't want to hear you.
So I said, you have to stay for the police. So then she bopped me again. I said, now, wait a minute. Are you fighting? And then she just took off, and I said, I just had gastric bypass surgery. I'm not strong, and she just commenced on, so, hey, I'm going to defend my stomach and everything.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Miss Cooper, you know what a hair follicle test is?
What's that? Oh, they pick the hair.
Yeah. We take a piece of your hair, and the hair will tell us whether, in the past year, you have used any drugs, because it remains in the hair shaft, and if you've used alcohol, how much. You prepared to take a hair follicle test?
I feel that there's no reason to
You
take
prepared? My question is, that requires a yes or a no answer. You say that you did not use drugs, and you don't have an alcohol problem. So my question to you is, are you prepared to take a hair follicle test that requires a yes or a no answer?
No, I'm not going to take a hair
follicle test.
For what?
Correct.
I'm here for the fact that this woman assaulted me.
I don't believe she assaulted you.
She did assault me, Your Honor. This woman is lying through her teeth, Your Honor.
Miss Cooper, now your mother knows. If I said to you, Miss Jimenez, I have serious questions as to whether or not you abuse drugs, and I can find that out very easily. Are you prepared to give us a strand of hair so we can do a hair follicle test? What would you say to me?
Yes.
Of course. What did your daughter say to me?
She said no.
Do you know why? I've been in this business for 40 years. I know why.
But Your
Copy
Honor...
of that. I'm speaking. Copy of this case will be sent to Child Protective Services. Your lawsuit is dismissed. So is your counterclaim. You would not have filed this counterclaim unless you filed the lawsuit, correct?
Correct.
We'll take care of what you wanted to do, which is at least try to have this baby protected. Child Protective Services will do a follow-up now that she's declined to take a test. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand? Now, I don't know what you do, but you got to get more together and you got to get involved. It's not up to her to take over your responsibility.
I ain't seen
That's
my
all.
baby
He
in
doesn't
4
take
months.
care of his child.
She took my baby.
Oh, whatever. Good. Piece it.
Wait right
She
here.
took my baby.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Justice has not been served, but God will take care of her.
Most of all, I was very pleased, and I thank God for her seeing how the mother was in denial.
I see that she takes good care of the baby. You should see the baby. It's a beautiful baby.
I haven't seen my child since she was 4 weeks old. I provided a roof over Rachel's head. She didn't have to pay no bills.
Yeah, I've been drinking probably like day before yesterday, 3 days ago, but my daughter's well taken care of. I'm not an alcoholic.
Rachel she not a good mother.
Now I'm gonna put it in God's hands and pray on it and do the best that I can to get my baby and raise my child.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hopkins versus Ferris. Step forward, please.
22-year-old Chris Hopkins is suing his former friend, 22-year-old Corey Ferris, for veterinary bills. Chris claims Corey got his dog drunk during a party.
Bird, what kind of cases do I hate?
You hate cases where people are drunk,
Yes!
but they look nice.
Well, they're at least dressed. They put on ties. They're neat drunks. But they're college students. Is that right?
That's right, Your Honor.
I have a couple of questions before I get into this dumb drunk case. What school do you go to?
University of Georgia.
And what year are you in?
I'm about to graduate in the fall.
Do you know what the tuition is?
I think it's about $3,000 a year.
Do you live on campus?
I do not live on campus. I live just off campus in a house.
And what's the annual rent on the house for you, your share?
$650 a month.
Take your hands out of your pockets. How old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
Okay. Do you go to school full time?
I do.
Do you work?
I do.
What kind of work do you do?
I work for Miller Brewing Company.
And how much did you earn last year?
Approximately $7,000 last year.
Okay. So, pocket money.
Yes.
And who's footing the bill for this tuition?
My father.
Now, you, Mr. Ferris.
Yes.
You have about the same expenses, sir?
Maybe a little less, but pretty much. Except for I don't pay tuition, I have a scholarship.
Okay. Do you work? It's not an answer.
Didn't work, I just graduated in May.
Okay, so who supported you while you were going to college?
Well, mostly my dad.
Good. Now, according to your complaint, Mr. Hopkins, you were having a party at your house.
That's correct, Your Honor.
At your rental house.
No, it's owned.
By whom?
By me.
You own the house?
That's correct.
Where you live?
That's right.
Good. How did you save up enough money to buy this house?
My grandmother left me money, Your Honor.
So you took your grandmother's money.
That's
Let
correct.
me understand something. You took your
And I
grandmother.
invested it.
Listen to me. You took your grandmother's money and you invested in a house.
That's right.
Where you charge rent to other people.
That's correct.
And you have parties where there's a lot of drinking.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, according to your complaint, Mr. Hopkins, you had one of those wild parties where everybody was drinking, and you have a dog.
Right.
And it is your complaint that Mr. Ferris fed your dog alcohol, as a result of which your dog got sick. And in addition, after your dog got sick, and because Mr. Ferris and others had thrown their glass beer bottles in the yard, there was broken glass, and your dog also got glass in his paw, and you had a vet bill of almost $1,000 between the dog being inebriated and the paw that had to be cleaned up and stitched.
Almost perfectly correct.
It's close enough for your purposes, sir.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Listen to me. Don't change my fact pattern, sir.
All right.
This is my party. This is my playpen.
Giving beer to his dog during a party.
Now, the first thing that you said that's irritating me is that your father spends a lot of money for school for you, and this drunk business always struck me as being stupid, even when my own children were involved in it when they were in college. I always resented paying for a 4-year party. But what really irritates me about you, Mr. Hopkins, is that I'm sure that your grandmother was somebody who saved her money and was very careful with her money.
Yes, Your Honor.
And when she left you that money, I'm sure what she wanted you to do was to be careful, cautious, and respectful of this little legacy that she left you. And you bought a house and proceeded to throw parties and probably trash it.
That's not correct, Your Honor.
Well, how many college kids live in your house, sir?
2. Myself and one other.
And how many parties did he have last year, Mr. Ferris, at his house?
Countless.
Countless. Got it. So that's my problem with you.
We have very clean parties, Your Honor.
What?
We have very clean parties, Your Honor. We're responsible.
Mr. Hopkins, don't play with me.
I'm not playing with you.
Good. If you're not playing with me, then don't talk to me unless I'm talking to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now we'll get to you, Mr. Ferris, because you acknowledge in your answer, ply the dog with alcohol. You're going to tell me why, because Bert is really interested to know why you would give a dog alcohol.
Well, I didn't give it to him at first. I was drinking it out of one of those Dixie cups and was sitting on the floor next to my chair. And the dog came up and started drinking it himself. So I figured, this dog is clearly an alcoholic. So I fed him maybe 10 ounces of beer.
Okay.
Could not have gotten him drunk. It was
Listen to
very
me, Mr.
small,
Ferris.
man.
Put your hand down. I didn't ask you anything. Mr. Ferris, your defense, as far as I can understand it, sir, is that you gave the dog alcohol, but not more than, according to your answer, 12 ounces of alcohol, which could not have made this dog drunk. You, not being a veterinarian, I don't think you can make that judgment. But your defense really is that there were other people also giving the dog alcohol, so if the dog got sick, it was a cumulative effect, therefore you should not be responsible. That is your defense, is that right?
Not only that, but I don't see why I should be responsible, period, because, especially for the dog cutting his foot, I don't see how that has anything to do with me.
I'm talking to you about alcohol, sir.
All right.
And I have other important cases to do today, other than drunk cases, which I don't like to begin with. So I'm going to give you a quick analogy. Let's say on a Saturday night late, you're walking in the street and you're walking alone, and a group of 3 thugs come up and surround you and demand your wallet. The 3 of them then take out knives and start to stab you, and you are critically injured. The police catch one of them. The other two get away. Put your hand down. If the perpetrator said, I wasn't the only one to stab him, and therefore you can't charge me with stabbing him critically because there were two other people involved. Do you know what the justice system says to you?
What if the guy testified against the other two and they gave him a lesser...
Listen to me. Don't change my fact pattern, sir.
All right.
This is my party. This is my playpen.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Now, the fact that you were dumb enough to feed this dog alcohol, causing the dog to get sick, makes you totally and completely responsible. And if there were other morons like you at the party, sue them. You're free to do that. You're even free to bring those people before me, sir.
Okay.
I can deal with them. As far as you're concerned, you're the donkey, and the tail is on you. You fed him alcohol. You're responsible. Now, what were your medical bills?
$967.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $967. Do me a favor, no more drunk cases today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. Step out, please.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
This is not the first party he's thrown a beer bottle at, okay? He throws it every single time. He's always the drunkest guy at the party, and I'm tired of it.
I don't really even see the connect between the liquor and the cut anyway. It doesn't really make sense.
When you start throwing beer bottles because you're drunk and the dog gets hurt, it's a different issue.
I particularly saw him many times giving the dog beer.
A lot of people were there breaking bottles. A lot of people were feeding beer to the dog.
He was seemingly the only one I saw giving the dog beer.
My animal, it's my child. I mean, I'm a 22-year-old guy. I've had this dog for 3 years. Me and him been through a lot together.
Bernadette Phelps is suing her sister, Valerie Sanborn, for the cost of bank overdraft fees. Bernadette says she was allowing her sister the use of her account.
All rise. Your Honor, this is case number 76 on the calendar in the matter of Phelps versus Sanborn. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat. You're welcome.
Ms. Phelps, the defendant is your sister.
Yes.
According to your complaint, you were trying to help her get on her feet. You agreed to add her to your joint bank account so that she could develop a certain credit history. According to you, you did not use that bank account, and there came a time when you said to her, listen, I want you to close out the account. I don't want you to use it anymore. And it is your claim that she overdrew that account and you had fees and penalties in excess of $1,600. Ms. Sanborn says that you have some nerve suing her because you were the one who took the money out of the account. That's your defense?
Yeah, that's right, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Why was your sister helping you get on your feet?
Because I had gone through some rough times and she was helping me out.
Rough times working, rough times keeping a home?
I just had went through some financial difficulties and...
Okay. Financial difficulties. Mm-hmm. Had you been working when she opened this account?
Yes, I had.
How long had you been working?
Since June of that year, 2005.
And when was the account open?
You know what, I am not...
When was the account open?
November 2005.
And tell me the circumstances surrounding you putting her name on the account.
Well, I actually opened a separate account. I didn't add her onto my joint account with my husband, but I had actually, per her request, taken over her finances because she felt that she'd be able to save money better that way. And she had an allowance, and she was paying us rent.
She was living with you?
She was living with us. We took her in because she had some financial problems, and she ended up losing her car, her job, and her home. So we really felt like, here's somebody who's a single mom, down on her luck. People have helped us out before, we'll definitely help her out. And my husband did it more for me. Her behaviors were something that weren't to be desired, but several months later I opened the account. Initially I was paying her bills for her out of the account. The whole purpose of it was to open it, put her on it, and then take myself off. I didn't know at the time you can't just do that, that you have to close out the account. So the agreement was always that I would at some point be disconnected from this account. And I never used it for personal uses, it was all her use. So
you never deposited any money into that account?
No, I did not ever deposit money into that account.
Or withdrew any money from that account?
No, not for purposes other than to pay things that she owed. Meaning I was taking care of her bills for her. So yes, did I write checks? Initially, yes. But there came a time when she moved out in February of 2006, and she took total control of the account. And the agreement was when she moved out, she would close the account. Because
where did you move to?
I moved to Santa Maria.
Where were you working?
I was working for a graphic design company at the time.
You have a child?
I have 2 children, 7 and 6.
Do they live with you?
Actually, they're living with my dad right now because we had enrolled them in school in Visalia, and I didn't want to disturb
They're
their
living
life.
with your father,
Yeah.
with their paternal grandfather?
Yes.
How long have they been living with him?
Since May of last year.
Prior to that, were they always living with
Yes.
you? Okay. And when did the account become overdrawn?
I would say in the beginning of April.
It was actually March 29th is the exact day it started becoming overdrawn.
Okay.
So she moved out in February. The agreement was that she would close the account.
She didn't close the account.
She didn't. She called me actually and told me she did, though. She had asked me, you know, I did my taxes. They're going to be deposited in there. Can you just wait until the taxes get deposited? And I said, you know, okay.
How much were your taxes?
Over $6,000.
And were they direct deposit into your account?
Yes, they were, Your Honor.
You have that statement?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. When were they deposited into the account?
You know what? I'm not exactly sure what day.
Well, we'll find out.
Okay.
They weren't $6,000. It was $5,174.05.
And then there was another deposit, Your Honor, before the prior to the...
$305.
Okay, so $5,400, I'm sorry. Can I say something, Your Honor?
Mm-hmm.
I had opened up an account on the 1st of April. And when I opened up the account, they said that if I signed a paper, it was a waiver stating that they would take the money out of the one account and transfer it over to my new account.
So?
So I assumed that the account was closed at that time.
Listen, I want you to take a look at all of these charges, madam.
I haven't seen that.
Well, take a look.
Thank you. Okay, this is prior to me opening up my new account.
I don't care whether it's prior to you opening up your new account or not.
Mm-hmm.
What does that have to do with your sister? You're telling me that you were inept financially and you thought that something was going to happen that didn't happen. What does that have to do with the fact that you overdrew this account?
And it has everything to do with the fact because she had told me that she wanted me to close the account. I did that.
But you continued to write checks on it when you didn't have any money in the account.
I thought that there was money in the account.
Well, but you thought wrong. You thought wrong. So instead of saying my sister stole the money out of the account and that's why it's overdrawn, say, what's your first name?
Bernadette.
Say, I'm sorry, Bernadette. You were very, very nice to me. You know, I'm very bad with finances and I'll make up the shortfall for you. You don't say she took the money out of the account. You say, show me what I did.
And I did say that, and I never seen this paper before.
Now you see it.
And then her husband comes to my work and calls me up and he sits there and he says, oh, you know, if you don't pay this money, you know, I'm going to, you know, go to your work. And so I called the police. I said, you know, he's harassing me because he has nothing to do with this whole issue. It was between me and my sister. He had nothing to do with any of it.
I want to tell you something. Your conduct is outrageous. You are outrageous. Your sister was nice to you. She helped you. You moved into her house. You said to me, I was down on my luck. Lost my job, lost my car, lost my kids. I needed some place to go.
I didn't lose my children.
You did lose your children. If your children don't sleep in your house with you, then you've lost your children. If they're with your father and they're not with you, then you've lost your children. May not be permanently, but you've lost your children.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You know, you better get somebody else to continue to help you with your finances. Or I'm going to give you a copy of a book that I wrote a long time ago.
And later today,
very infrequently in my career have I had to make a judgment for somebody that really stuck in my throat. This judgment really sticks in my throat.
Bernadette Phelps claims her sister, Valerie Sanborn, caused her bank account to go into overdraft.
Okay, so you were down on your luck and your sister and her husband, because they're a team, were very nice to you. And in return, you accused them of stealing.
Well, I assumed that if the money wasn't in there, that it was taken out.
By you?
No, because when I opened this account, they
You
said...
withdrew money and you wrote checks on this account.
Prior to this account being open.
Oh, give it to me. You know, you better get somebody else to continue to help you with your finances. Or I'm going to give you a copy of a book that I wrote a long time ago. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,600. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm just glad it's over.
I'm happy, and I also hope that my sister can do better for herself.
Our relationship has been messed up because of this.
I really, really hope that she can get on her feet, and then in time we can all be a family again.
It's upsetting. It's very upsetting.
I do love her, and I'm sorry that she can't be in my life.
I just want to get over it and move on.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bender versus Fleming. Step forward.
20-year-old Leanna Bender is suing ex-boyfriend, 21-year-old Travis Fleming, for the balance on a 94 BMW. Travis claims the car was stolen and burned.
Mr. Fleming, how old are you, sir?
21 years old, ma'am.
What do you do for a living?
I work at Anchor Blue, ma'am.
What is that?
Clothing store, ma'am.
What did you do before that?
Worked at Pet Boys, ma'am.
Could you be a little slower, please?
Pet Boys.
And before that?
I worked at America's Tire, ma'am.
Before that?
Da Vinci's Pizza.
Had a lot of jobs for somebody who's only 21 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
How long did you live with Mr. Fleming, Miss Bender?
From November through February of 2006.
And at some point, decided to buy a car.
Yes,
Your
ma'am.
arrangement was as follows. This was your car, but since Mr. Fleming also needed to use a car, while it was going to be your car, you were paying for the car. In exchange for Mr. Fleming's use of the car, he was going to maintain the insurance on the car. And then you broke up.
Yes, ma'am.
According to Mr. Fleming, he complied with the terms of your agreement and maintained the insurance on the car. Correct,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Fleming? And when you broke up, he took the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, he took the car, despite the fact that this was your car, because he, of necessity, because he had to have an insurable interest in the car, his name had to be on the title. So the understanding was that it was your car. His name was going to be on the title for the sole purpose of his being able to get insurance for the car, which was his responsibility. So far, is that correct, Mr. Fleming?
Yes, ma'am.
And you took the car, and then according to you, someone stole the car, someone you don't know, and they found the car burnt to a crisp on the side of the road somewhere. So far, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Miss Bender, because she's on the loan, you're not, she's responsible to pay off the car loan. So she said you had no right to take the car because you knew it wasn't your car, and so you're responsible for whatever happened to it. So this is my question to you, Mr. Fleming. I would like to see the statement from your insurance company indicating why, if the car was stolen and totaled, and if you maintained insurance on this car, why they have disclaimed on the policy.
I was told by my claim agent.
Don't tell me anything. I want to see a statement from your insurance company that indicates why they disclaimed on this policy.
I do not have one, Your Honor.
Why not, sir?
The only claim I do have is the one that I filed a claim for the vehicle, but the claim that I canceled for the vehicle.
The claim that you canceled?
I had a claim on the vehicle, ma'am. But the reason why I canceled it is they told me that because Miss Bender here was suing me before the car came up missing, that I should cancel it at that point in time, restate it at a later time, just so that if you decide to rule as something different, it wouldn't contradict anything.
Well, that's very good. Then you deal with your insurance company. Thank you very much. Your case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He took it and burnt it in Madeira.
If she can't get her way and she's money hungry, she cries.
Him and his criminal friend.
Why would I steal my own personal car that's registered under my name?
They're criminals.
Well, that just means I got more paperwork to do, I guess.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Greenwood versus Bolden and Zaplicki. Step forward, please.
26-year-old Jamie Greenwood is suing her former friends, 23-year-old Brad Bolden and his girlfriend Holly Zaplicki, for the cost of 2 airplane tickets to Mexico.
According to your complaint, this large extended group was planning a trip to Mexico.
Correct.
And either one or both of them asked you to book the tickets for them because you were booking a block of tickets.
Correct.
You did that. Somebody had an emergency in the family. Who was it? You.
Yes.
And they told you they weren't going. Tickets that you purchased on your credit card were non-refundable. You want them to assume the responsibility for those tickets. They do not deny that they asked you to book the tickets, correct?
Correct.
Correct. And they do not deny that you booked the tickets, correct?
Correct.
So I now hear your defense.
The reason why I can't go on the trip is because my father's ill. He has bad diabetes, and had paperwork here for my job. I only had 4 vacation days left for my job, so during that time I was going to use those 4 days to go down on the trip. And I stated to her that I have FMLA for my father.
You have what?
FMLA is like family leave for my job, and when you use the time up for my father, they took my vacation days for me. So that's the main reason why I really can't go on the trip. And I didn't tell her to book it on her credit card. She didn't tell us nothing about it going on her credit card. She didn't tell
Well, what
me.
did you think she was going to do, pay cash?
No, we had a due date to get the rest of the money. We gave her $500 down to reserve part of it, and she said she'd give us the rest of the money on June 10th, give her the rest of the $2,300 to give to her. So I was going to give her that money on the due date. She didn't say nothing about no credit card or nothing like that. I was paying cash for it. I didn't tell her to do it on a credit card. She took it a month herself to put it on her credit card.
What's your name, Bolden?
Yes.
Get it together. Maybe 1% of the people in this country, when they book a vacation, go to the airlines and pay them cash.
Yeah.
I don't know a soul that does that, and I know a lot of people. Did you ever go down to the airlines in the past 10 years and pay them in cash?
No.
You use your credit card.
That's
Call
right.
up, or you go book online, you type in your credit card, you give the operator your credit card, and that's the way you book a ticket to go away.
She didn't tell me.
Listen! She doesn't have to tell you unless you're living on Pluto. I want you to look out at the gallery here in court today. Turn around. How many of you have been on an airline within the last 5 years? Raise your hands. Turn around, look. Put your hands down. How many of you have gone and paid cash to the airline for your ticket? Raise your hand. You got it?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. People don't do that. How much does he owe you?
In total, $972.58.
She had called my house and said it was $890-some. She never said nothing about no $900 and some.
Well, what do you think happens to the $876 when you don't pay it at all?
Well, she could have told us that first if she was putting something on a credit card, because we're not the only people that she did that to.
Yeah, because I have
She did it to you. What do you
She's
mean
not
she
the
did
only
it
person.
To you. Do you have children?
I have 3.
How old are you?
25.
Ay. Listen, I'm going to waste not one further moment on this case. Between the two of them, I don't think we can put together a 3-digit IQ. I'm not going to be able to explain that to them. Is that what's on the credit card for their portion of the trip?
Correct.
$972. That's what you owe her. Pay her.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Just to make extra money in her pocket, that's all.
It's about the principal and the money.
It doesn't matter, because we don't get along with her anyway.
I can move on.
Whatever.
Whatever.
21-year-old Beth Garcia is suing her boyfriend's ex, 21-year-old Jamie Petola, for keying profanities into the side of her car. Jamie denies the charge.
And Judge, you may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Miss Garcia, the defendant is your current boyfriend's ex-girlfriend.
And also the mother of his child.
Where is your boyfriend today?
He couldn't make it because he's had too many issues with her and pending court problems with her that he has to take care of. So that's why he couldn't make it.
He didn't have any pending court matters today, did he?
None at all.
Hmm?
None at all. He never
None at all.
has.
But he decided to take the high road and just be absent, even though he probably created all of these problems to begin with. Now, when did you last live with, what's his first name?
E. Lincoln.
E. Lincoln?
E. Lincoln.
E. period Lincoln?
Yes.
Well, what's his first name?
E. Lincoln.
There's no period between the E and the Lincoln. It's just E. Lincoln.
E. Lincoln. When did you first live with E. Lincoln?
When was the first I lived with him?
Yeah. First, give me the year.
Probably it was 2001.
And when did you last live with him?
2005.
When in 2005?
Around February, March.
And when did you start to be involved with Mr. Lincoln?
We officially were involved in October.
Of 2006?
2005.
Before a friend.
So there was a little overlapping?
No.
Yes. I was living with him and she knew.
Okay, so there was a little overlap.
Yeah.
They weren't
keeping it
together.
Yeah.
Hey. There was some overlapping. Now, it is your claim, Ms. Garcia, that the defendant vandalized your car, not on one occasion, but on multiple occasions.
Yes.
And despite the fact that you never saw her vandalize your cars, you have proof by way of admissions that she did, in fact, vandalize your cars. When was the first time your car was vandalized?
On the morning of October 23rd, 2005 was when I noticed it, so it was that night.
Okay. And what was the nature of the vandalism?
She had keyed...
Don't tell me what she did.
She keyed
someone.
profane
No,
words.
listen to me.
Someone. Someone keyed profane words on my hood, my driver's door, and the back driver's door, because it's a 4-door, and put key marks on the rest of it, and knocked off the driver's side mirror.
Okay. Do you have photographs of the car?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see them. Now, with regard to this incident in October, what proof do you have that the defendant was responsible?
Well, before my involvement with E. Lincoln, I believe he said it was like in 2002.
Don't tell me what he said to you. That's hearsay.
In 2002, his vehicle was vandalized the same exact way.
You cannot tell me anything that he said to you.
Okay.
Because that is hearsay. Do you have any proof that the defendant committed that vandalism on your car?
I have a police recording because on the night of January 3rd, 2006, she was calling my phone saying, I'm going to vandalize your vehicle again. My roommate...
Okay, so you have a recording.
Yes, and the police report stating that the police...
Let me see it, please.
That he heard the recording.
Where is the recording now?
It could
messes with the cop. She probably messes with the cop.
No.
She probably talks to the cop.
I'm not speaking to you.
Sorry.
Car was damaged again when?
The next damage was on March 6, 2006.
Okay. With regard to the March incident, you told the police that it could have been any one of 3 people.
Right.
I'm
sorry.
I'm already convinced, madam, that you damaged her car in October. Already convinced based upon the police report. You want to be responsible for March too?
No.
Then keep your mouth shut. You told the police with regard to the March incident that it could have been any of 3 people. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Those 3 people are her friends.
I don't care. You're not responsible for your friends, Ms. Garcia. So you have no proof with regard to March 6th. Is that correct?
That's correct. But then there was another one.
When?
April 10th. And that one, both the taillights were broken off and both the side mirrors were broken off.
Did you have any conversation with the defendant about what happened to your car?
After the January 3rd conversation was the only conversation.
Okay. You want to explain yourself, madam, with regard to the October 23rd, 2005. You want to explain yourself to me?
I didn't do it.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Then why, madam, when the police got you on the phone, which they did?
Why isn't there? She probably talks to
Just
the
a
cop.
second. Would you get her out of here? Thank you. Get her out of here. Why did you hang up the phone when a policeman identified himself on the phone?
Because when a person says the police are on the phone, you don't know if you could go to jail for something stupid or not. She played on my phone up until she called the cops on purpose, and then that's when I called back and was arguing with her because she told my son when he stayed at her house with my ex-boyfriend that she don't like me and all this other type of stuff. So I called her and was, arguing with her or whatever. And then she was like, you did this to my car or whatever. She had the police right there. So he probably was hanging out at her house because she talks to a lot of people and she goes downtown and she talks to cops and stuff. So he probably was sitting right there maybe. Maybe that's the case.
Maybe
I'm
not.
serious.
Let me see the estimate for the damage to your car on October 23rd,
This is the one
2005.
from the October
Police
23rd.
officers indicated that they heard the recording. Your recording.
I didn't get no police report.
I don't care whether you got it or
cop
not.
came to
I
my
got
house.
it.
They didn't say nothing to me.
Listen to me. I got it.
That.
I'm speaking. You don't have to help me.
She don't really know who did it, nothing to her car. It's so many people. She sleeps around with people she don't know.
Listen, Miss Attitude, you were annoyed with her because she was bad-mouthing you to you. I'm speaking. This is what you just told me. You're shaking your head no.
No.
You're shaking your head no. You just told me you were angry with her because she had bad-mouthed you to your son. That's why you were yelling at her on the phone.
Right.
Because she had bad-mouthed you to your son. That was the conversation that you said was overheard by the police officer.
Right, then
that was listen to me. That was after her car was vandalized in October.
Why didn't I call her before and argue with her if I messed up her car or somebody else was messing up her car? Just because I called and argued with her, that don't got nothing to do with me.
Garcia played officers a message on her cell phone left today by Jamie stating, amongst other things, that she was going to damage her vehicle once again, according to the officer now implicating herself in the previous incident. Ryder was present when Jamie then called back Garcia and heard her repeatedly use profanity when she was addressing Garcia. Ryder attempted to speak with Jamie, however, she hung up on the phone when the Ryder identified himself as a police officer.
Right, I hung up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You also said to her that you were going to damage her car again.
I did not say that.
So the police are lying?
Yeah.
And later today,
If your foot got stuck between the gas and the brake, it's your fault.
I was wearing my work boots at the time, which are larger than normal size shoes.
You made babies with him.
Beth Garcia claims her boyfriend's ex, Jamie Petola, vandalized her car by keying it.
She or her friends probably did the damage to your car. Unfortunately, you can't prove it, but you can certainly, you've established to my satisfaction, based on the fact that she was angry with you, based upon the fact that she knows that E. Lincoln was two-timing her. You may or may not have known it, but she knew it.
Yes.
October 23rd, 2005, was that on or about the same time that you had this discussion with your son?
No, it just was recently when the first time I caught her, the time that she taped me.
That was not the first conversation was. I had to have my phone cut off.
No, that wasn't just recently, madam. It wasn't just recently. That was 4 months ago.
I know. That was the last time I talked to her.
How did you get her phone number?
She called my phone playing on it with her phone number. That's how I got it.
So what did you call her back for?
Because she was arguing and playing on my phone, so I called her back to see who it was, and I cussed her out for playing on my phone.
You also said to her that you were going to damage her car again.
I did not say that.
So the police are lying?
Yeah.
The police are
lying?
lying?
No, I don't think the police are lying. I think maybe it's one of her friends or something.
No. Police were lying?
No, I'm not going to say the police were lying, but...
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,619. That's all. Stay away from her car.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He was supposed to be her witness. Why ain't he here?
Jealousy, because she wants him back.
If that's her boyfriend, if that's, what happened, he knows somebody else did it too.
But he doesn't want her back.
She has a whole bunch of enemies she gets around.
He can't stand to see that he's with someone else and doesn't want her back at all.
I've been moved on. I have a boyfriend. She can have him.
Simple-minded and psychotic.
Yeah, it's done and over.
She needs to get a life.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Joza versus Witzel. Step forward, please.
26-year-old Laura Joza is suing bar patron 22-year-old Jason Witzel for the cost to fix her car. Laura claims Jason body slammed his friend into the vehicle.
Ms. Joza, the defendant, you believe, damaged your car while he was drunk in a parking lot of a bar. Your car at that time had been driven to work by your boyfriend. Is this the boyfriend?
Right.
You were not present when this happened.
I was not.
Were you present?
Yes, I was.
Step up, please. On what date did this incident happen with her car?
This was 1 o'clock in the morning on March 4th.
And what's the name of the bar where you work?
It's called Little Pedro's. It's
What do you
on,
do there?
I work the front door, and my car was basically parked about 20 feet away from me.
Her car?
Or we live together. It's our car.
It's registered in my name.
It's kind of, I don't know what that makes it.
Doesn't make it.
No. Well,
by my standards, but yeah, anyway. Go ahead.
Doesn't make it. So it's your car?
My car.
Well, basically what happened, he came out of the club, and as he came out, I can kind of tell him and his friends were a little riled up. I guess having a good time, but a little agitated for some reason. They walked down the way, and they actually were right in the side of my car. And all of a sudden, they just escalated into them wrestling each other. And at that moment, when I seen them wrestling, I was starting to walk over there. And as soon as I started going out of the door to go over there, he grabbed his friend that he was wrestling and slammed him into my vehicle. So I ran over there. As I was grabbing him, he swung, missed me, struck his friend right in the nose, was bleeding all over the place. And then I told him, they're not coming into the club, that they're done. You guys definitely are over it. But about 10, 15 minutes later, I guess I was so adrenaline rushed at the time, I didn't notice that my car was damaged. And I looked, and I could see in the light reflecting off the side of the vehicle that it was damaged right where they fell into it. So then I looked around.
Well, they didn't fall into it. According to you, Mr. Witzel body slammed his
friend into the car. He slammed his friend into the car, and his friend fell with his back onto the vehicle, and they both collided into the car with both of their force.
Got it. Okay.
And then what happened after that, he said he was going to be compliant with it. We filled out an incident report from the club that he signed, stating what happened, what time, and all this.
Can I see it, please?
Sure. We also have pictures of the damage, if you'd like that.
I would.
Also have the insurance information that he gave us.
That was actually another kind of a weird thing about this case. He gave us an insurance card that he stated that it was his insurance, but it was actually just his AAA service.
He can't have insurance for this.
Yeah, I know,
they don't
but that's...
give insurance for this. This incident report indicates that Jason, that would be you, is that right? Was so drunk he couldn't even write his name or number. So, let me hear you.
Well, I was already kind of kicked out of the bar because I had too much to drink.
Yeah.
And I was sitting outside waiting for my friends.
Yeah.
And there was probably maybe like 50 to 60 people outside.
Yeah.
And where he was, from where his car was, he couldn't have seen what happened.
How do you know what he saw, sir? You were drunk.
Because he was standing inside of the door.
I was not
inside the door. Don't speak.
I mean, I did walk into the place. I saw where he was when he was, taking IDs
Jason,
and whatnot.
Two things. There is a signed acknowledgement of responsibility.
Right.
That you signed.
Right.
Now, you say that You were too drunk to know anything about what you signed. That's your defense to that. Is that right?
Yeah.
And yet you're telling me you were not drunk enough.
Well,
so listen, let me finish. You were too drunk to know what you signed, but not so drunk as to be able to tell me that he couldn't have seen what he says he saw.
Okay, but the times are completely different. I was waiting outside for like 45 minutes before he even came up to me. They didn't let me back in. I had to ask him if I could get my friends to leave. And then I probably waited outside like another 30, 45 minutes before he let me back in. And then when we were walking out to leave is when he pulled me aside and said he was looking for me because something happened to his car. At that point, I didn't know what was going on. I knew nothing about the car. I don't even think he knew. And it was like, oh, they were probably close to it. They might as well have done it. When there were so many people out there that were walking by, anyone could have done it.
Well, that's true, but he says you did it. And you're too drunk to know what you did.
Well, of course, I'm drunk. He sees a really drunk guy signing a thing that I'm too drunk to sign. It's easy.
Do you know, Jason, what that would suggest to me?
What?
That a good life's lesson is, if you're going to drink, don't drink too much. Because if you drink too much, you really can't tell what kind of dumb thing you might do, or you can't really defend yourself when somebody says that you did something that you say you didn't do. Do you follow that?
Yeah, I follow that.
So that would be a good lesson, because you don't drink well, sir.
Well, maybe it was a long night of drinking.
Was there any reason for that?
I don't know. You start off with a few, and then, I don't know, you end up having more than you expected.
That sounds stupid.
At the time, I guess it didn't.
But it does sound stupid, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds
Because now
stupid.
you're going to have to fix her car. What kind of car is it?
It's a 2005 Cadillac CTS, so it's a expensive car which is in pristine condition. It's not like I had something on it before, or, you know, it's a perfect car. I have a question, too, for him. Since he says now that, you know, he didn't do it, it could have been anybody. So since we had contact with him days afterward, and everything was fine, oh, yeah, we'll take care of it. Take it to my place over here. Those days you were sober, so that doesn't make any sense that, oh, you were too drunk at that, you know, that day. But then days afterward, you didn't say you didn't do it. This is the first that we hear that it could have been 50 or 60 people that did it.
But it could have, he told me it was his car, now all of a sudden it's her car.
That doesn't matter.
Just a second. What difference does that make to you?
Well, all right, after the whole incident, it got kind of fishy, you know? He called me like...
Listen, I don't want to hear you anymore.
Okay.
Quite frankly, when a 22-year-old gets so drunk that they don't know what they're doing, makes me nauseous. I want to gag. My gag reflex is in. You owe her $500. Judgment for the plaintiff.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Called me like nonstop, leaving all kinds of messages.
Of course, we're going to call and, like, try to get it settled.
Trying to harass us, little intimidation.
The guy was obviously too drunk to remember anything.
Drink less.
The right thing was done. It's too bad he's such a loser who couldn't just take care of it before we got here.
3-year-old Nicole Hendershot is suing her ex-boyfriend, 21-year-old Kevin Gleason, for unauthorized use of her credit card and unpaid loans.
Thanks, Bert.
You're welcome.
All right, Miss Hendershot, this used to be your boyfriend. And your complaint is that you made 2 loans to him. One was by giving him your credit card and allowing him to make some purchases on it. And then, since he wasn't paying you back, that you would get your money back as if he had a new job. And a new job needed new clothes. So he asked if you would loan him the money for some new clothes. You bought him $3,000 worth of clothes. And he paid you back nada. That's not the outfit she bought you, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It's not GQ.
Kind of early gangster.
Mr. Gleason says that you were very, very nice to him, and all of the things that he purchased were gifts. How old are you, Miss Hendershot?
23.
Do you work?
Yep, full time.
What kind of job do you have?
Inventory manager at a car dealership.
You've been there for how long?
A year and a couple months.
How much do you earn annually?
Probably about $32,000.
Nice. You live by yourself?
I live with family.
You pay rent?
No.
What do you mean you live with a family?
I live with my grandparents.
Oh, so you don't pay rent?
I don't pay rent.
Eventually you're going to have to do that. You know, it's part of the growing up process, you know.
It's expensive
They
in
made
New
a
York.
movie about that. Fair, you get a launch, you got to launch one day. And what about you, Mr. Gleason? What do you do for a living, sir?
Right now, I just signed up for the National Guard, Army National.
How old are you?
21.
Signed up for the National Guard.
Yes, ma'am.
Before you signed up for the National Guard, what were you doing to support yourself?
Nothing, really.
Who do you live with?
I live with my grandmother.
What does she do for a living?
She used to housekeep.
And what does she do now?
She gets a pension, I do believe, from a past job that she had.
So she gets a small pension and she was doing housework.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were just laying home and eating food, doing what, Mr. Gleason?
Hanging out, friends.
While your grandmother was collecting a pension and cleaning other people's homes. Is that what you're telling me? I just want to get a picture of you, sir.
Yes.
Okay, Miss Hendershot, tell me about the first loan.
When I first met him, he told me that...
When did you first meet him?
Mid-September.
Where?
Through a friend.
You mean somebody introduced you to him as a blind date?
Yeah.
Take that friend and cross them off the list. That person is not a friend to you. That person is his friend.
So we met mid-September, started dating. He told me his ex...
When you went out with him, where would you go?
Movies.
Who
something
paid?
to eat. Me or him.
Where'd you get money from?
I get a check in the mail from my parents.
For what?
They're both deceased, so I get a Social Security check from them, each of them.
Until you're how old?
I think it's on 25, I do believe.
How much do you get?
Around like $675. It like fluctuates.
A month?
Yes.
Even if you're over 21 years old?
Yes, ma'am.
And laying around your grandmother's house?
Yes.
This is some America. Okay, so sometimes you paid, sometimes he paid. You started dating and... Keep going.
Told me he had just quit his job.
What job did you have?
I worked at a Volkswagen dealer.
Doing what?
Off the books mechanic work, like filling up tires, making sure the cars were expected and all that.
And how much did they pay you off the books for that?
About like $20 a day.
$20 a day? Clearly on his way up the corporate ladder. Quit his job, putting air in tires for $20 a day, and... Go ahead.
He said he was in the military, so he was getting a check from that, but it was going into a bank account that he couldn't touch.
He was in the military?
That's what he told me.
Go ahead.
So he asked me if he can use my credit card for his cell phone bill. I said, okay.
Well, what was wrong with his credit card?
Well, he had bad credit because his ex-girlfriend had run up his credit cards while he was in Iraq, and now he has
When
bad
were you
credit.
in Iraq, sir?
Got me.
What?
Got me.
Okay, so you gave him your credit card to pay his cell phone bill, and what was he supposed to do? Pay you back?
Yeah, he was supposed to pay me back. I also authorized him to buy a TV for his car.
A TV for his car?
Granted that he would pay me right away.
Don't you feel like an idiot? But I guarantee you this, Mr. Gleason, if you don't feel like an idiot now, by the time you leave here, I'm hoping for better results.
Yes, ma'am.
He's not George Clooney, you know.
I've learned my lesson.
Why did you need a TV for your car?
I said I wanted one, and she offered to get it.
Well, who got it, you or she?
She got it, and she said, you have to pay it back. And then, around Christmas time, she's like, oh, it's just a present for you. You can have it for Christmas.
You know you're going to get penalized for some of your stupidity, don't you?
Oh, I know. I was naive and stupid. I know that, and I've learned my lesson.
All right. When you got the bill, how much was the bill from the credit card?
I have authorized and unauthorized charges in September and October.
You have the bill for September?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it. Okay. Now let me see October statement. This is all his stuff?
Mm-hmm.
All of his stuff?
Mm-hmm.
What are you, out of your mind? What are you, out of your mind?
I guess so.
No, you're not. You're just a spoiled brat. Paid your credit card bill, paid your Sprint bill, you went to the drugstore, you filled up your car with gas, bought yourself a pair of shoes. Tiffany and Company?
He bought me my promise ring on my credit card.
Who bought jeans?
She wanted me to get jeans to go away to Florida to meet her parents.
You actually took him to meet your parents?
Yeah.
What'd they say?
We'll see.
Is that what they said to you?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see?
They said you're smart. I know you make the right decisions, and, you know, it's your relationship. You have to live it.
Now let's get to the close, Miss Hendershot. So after he didn't pay you back this and you saw that he was abusing your trust in October, you went out and you did something really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You continued to see him. You continued to be involved with him. And in January of 2006, you do what?
I bought him suits for his new job. He was a salesman, so he needed suits. So I offered to buy him. He agreed. We went to the store and we bought them together. And he lost a job a couple weeks later, started another job, lost that. I never saw a paycheck from the first job. He had an agreement that the paychecks would go to me for the suits.
I never agreed to taking the suits. I never even wanted the suits. She just wanted me to be some white-collar business guy. I mean, we would go to stores and she'd offer to buy them, and I was like, I don't want them. And she'll sit there and pick a fight with me, so I'll just let her do whatever she wanted.
What about this stuff, sir? These are your purchases. You had the card at that time.
The shoes are not my purchases, and only one guess is mine.
Take this over, please, Bird, to Mr. Gleason. Have him look at that and tell me what he acknowledges. You see, Mr. Gleason, listen to me very carefully, sir. It's clear to me that there was only one card, and that one card, I believe, was in your possession. Now, understanding that, you may go through that bill and tell me what's not yours, but be prepared to be grilled, Mr. Gleason. Grilled, sautéed, and poached.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're a user. You're using the federal government to support yourself. You're taking advantage of your grandmother, and you took advantage of this young lady. You are, Mr. Gleason, at this point in your life, a bum.
And later today...
Am I scaring you? Am I scaring you?
No.
That's too bad. I must try harder.
Nicole Hendershot claims ex-boyfriend Kevin Gleason racked up over $6,000 on her credit card.
All right. The things that you circled are yours or not yours?
Not mine. The thing that I checked is the one that she wanted me to go down to Florida with, the jeans. And
She can't wear your jeans, sir. What your statement is that these are all gifts. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Wrong. Did you tell him that the TV for his car was a gift Christmas time?
No. I said I'm going to pay it off since you don't have the money right now, but when you get a job, I'd like the money, because I didn't want it on my credit card balance.
Well, you can't have it on your credit card, otherwise you'll have credit like he did when he went to Iraq and his girlfriend racked up all those charges. She didn't make that up, did she? That you told her you had a girlfriend and that...
My ex did rack up my credit card.
When you were in Iraq? Huh?
No.
So you lied about that?
Yes.
When you lied to her about that, did you lie to her convincingly?
Kind of, because she wanted an image.
No, don't tell me what she wanted. I want you to tell me like you told her, just like you told her. I was in Iraq and my girlfriend maxed out my credit cards and so I have lousy credit. I want you to tell me exactly how you told that to her.
I said when I was...
Look at me. Like that you looked at her in the eye, right?
Kind of.
Tell me what you said to her, just like I'm looking at you.
I said to her, my ex-girlfriend racked up my credit card while I was away in Iraq.
Did you tell her how you paid off the credit cards?
Oh, I still have them going on dispute.
Why do you have them going on dispute?
Because she took my credit card without my permission. I gave it to her one time to use to help her pay off her credit card.
Yes.
And then she took my credit card without me, like, physically handing it to her.
Right.
And then I started getting bills in the mail.
How'd you feel about that?
I mean, it hurt, but...
How badly did it hurt?
50%. I tried to confront her, but
What?
she kept hanging up.
Did you sue her?
No.
Did you call the police?
I filed a report on it.
You did? So you were really angry?
Yes, ma'am.
Because somebody took advantage of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody took your credit card, somebody who you trusted, your girlfriend, and racked up a whole bunch of bills and ruined your young credit, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what'd you feel? You had the right to do it to somebody else?
No.
Figure if a girl can do it to a guy can do it to a girl.
Yes.
Mr. Gleason, if I were your grandmother, your bag would be packed on the front porch by the time I got home. It's time you grew up, because you're a user. You're using the federal government to support yourself when there's no reason for it. You look like an able-bodied, strong, well-nourished 21-year-old. You're taking advantage of your grandmother, who's living on a small pension and cleaning other people's houses to take care of you. And you took advantage of this young lady who cared for you, wanted only the best for you. You are, Mr. Gleason, at this point in your life, a bum. The sooner you start correcting it, the sooner you're going to be not a bum. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He used me to make himself happy.
I was hurt pretty badly about what my ex did to me, so I thought maybe if I did to somebody else, they'll learn or I'll learn. I guess I learned.
I think he got what he deserved, and hopefully I'll make the right decisions next time.
Her friend, Darian Jenkins, owes for unpaid loans and bail money from a false arrest.
Mr. Valenzuela, it is your claim that the defendant, who is a friend of yours, owes you for some small loans that you made to him.
Yes.
And then it is your claim that he had you falsely arrested.
Yes.
And you want damages for that. You've known him for a while, according to your complaint. You knew him, you were friendly with him, and then he moved out of state and then moved back. Where did you move to, sir?
To Colorado.
And you moved to Colorado from where?
From Texas.
And in Texas is where you knew the plaintiff?
Yes.
In what year did you move to Colorado?
2019.
And in what year did you move back to Texas?
This year, 2022.
And why did you move back?
Why did I move back?
You moved to Colorado for what?
My family was up there, yeah. And then my family went back to Texas.
Oh, so you moved with your family?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Did you live with your family in Colorado? Did you have a job?
Yes, I did.
Where?
I worked from home.
What kind of work?
For a newspaper.
In Colorado?
Yes.
What did you do in Texas?
Whenever I moved back, I was still working from home, but they let me go. I got laid off.
When did you get laid off?
I would say June.
June of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
And what month did you move back to Texas?
Oh, I had already moved back in May.
When you moved back in May, where did you go to live?
I was living in hotels.
But there came a point when you had no money.
It got to a point.
When did it get to a point when you had no money?
Maybe July.
And when did you contact Mr. Valenzuela?
I'd say July.
You didn't contact him in...
I mean, we talked while I lived in Colorado. You know, we always text each other, so...
Well, when you contacted him in July, what did you say to him?
I couldn't say exactly what I said, but...
Give me the gist of it.
Let me borrow some money, I guess.
Okay. And you needed it for living?
Right.
And what did he say to you?
He did, sometimes, if I asked him.
Okay. And how much did he give you?
Here and there, maybe 100, maybe 2 every...
No, altogether.
Altogether? Oh, I couldn't say how much altogether.
You couldn't say?
I couldn't say, maybe a few hundred.
Did he give you money for housing?
A couple times he did.
How much?
100 here, 100
Do you have
there.
a record of how much you gave him, sir?
I do.
Okay, because he's already said, and would you read that back to me, Whitney, please, about borrowing?
Said, let me borrow some money.
Right. Okay, let me borrow some money. So tell me how much money you let him borrow.
$1,200.
Show me.
These are screenshots of every time I sent him money.
Oh, can I see it, please? Okay, get ready, Sarah Rose. Anybody who came could see that your lip was bloody. You say he fell, must have fallen outside. You don't know how that happened. But if you both are alleging that there was a fight, police would look at you and say, well, he's injured. They wouldn't have arrested you unless you had a warrant.
Valenzuela is suing his former friend, Darian Jenkins, for unpaid loans and damages from an assault.
So every time you gave him money...
He agreed to pay me back.
No, he's already told me that he called you and asked if he could borrow some money, and you said yes, and he said, I don't know how I'm going to add them all up. Okay. Of all the money that you said that you borrowed from him, how much did you pay back?
120.
Good guess. Did he give you back $120?
No.
Did he give you back anything?
No.
Nothing ever?
No.
Okay. So while Sarah is adding that up, there came a point when you left the hotel. Is that right?
Yes.
And Mr. Valenzuela probably got tired of giving you money and said that you could stay in a spare room in his house.
For the most part, yes.
And you moved in August of 2022, the end of August.
Yes.
And then in September, you had a fight. I don't care what the fight was about. It became physical?
He was physical, yes.
No, I wasn't, Your Honor. No, I wasn't.
Let's say you had an argument that spilled out into the street, because this becomes very important because you assaulted him.
Right.
Right. He says, yes, you had an argument, but you weren't arrested on his allegation that you assaulted him, but you were arrested and held on an outstanding warrant. When the police responded, they found that there was an outstanding warrant. So now I want you to tell me, in September of 2022, did you have an outstanding warrant? That's either a yes or a no.
Well, it was on a payment plan.
I don't care what it was. Did you have an outstanding warrant?
Yes.
And the outstanding warrant was for a what?
Traffic tickets.
What kind of traffic ticket?
I think I was speeding and I didn't have my license either.
So think speeding, driving without a license, and no insurance.
And no tags.
And no tags. And for that, you got fined.
Yes.
And you didn't pay the fine.
I was paying it.
Well, there wasn't a warrant outstanding because you were cooperating and paying the fines.
The county that I'm in, they said, the police officer said, it doesn't matter if you're on a payment plan. They'll arrest you if they want to.
Mr. Valenzuela, did you miss payments on your fine?
Yes.
Perfect. And so when the police responded to this kerfuffle that was out in the street, when they ran both your names, your name came up with an active warrant.
Yes.
Well, that's easy. So that you were arrested on the outstanding warrant.
I would have never been arrested, though, if he wouldn't have acted.
If he didn't call the police.
No, he didn't call the police.
Who did?
My neighbor did, because of the way he was acting.
So your neighbor called the police, but for the outstanding warrant, I don't know whether the police would have taken you into custody to fallen outside. You don't know how that happened. It's really not relevant to this case. But if I were the police and I showed up, you didn't have any visible injuries, right? No, you had a busted lip. If you both are alleging that there was a fight, police would look at you and say, well, he's injured. He's got a busted lip, got to sew it up. They wouldn't have arrested you unless you had a warrant, right?
Right.
Good. So that's not his fault that you had a warrant. It's not his fault.
I have that total. It's $2,727.56, and that's including some direct payments to Motel 6s.
He says you didn't make any payments. $27.27.
I mean, there's no way he expected me to pay. I never said I was going to pay him that back.
Well, you told me that you asked him if you could borrow some money. That's what you said.
A couple times I asked to borrow money, but the entirety of that, all that, like, I didn't say I was going to pay that back. And he should know he was just being nice.
He was being nice.
Sometimes he offered.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
You have a job now?
Yes.
Okay, great. 27-27. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
I think he was just mad overall, so he just picked something to get me back with.
Just like he said, he thought I was being nice. Why would you say you're going to pay me back, but then not pay me back?
He was screaming. Yeah, he was screaming. Just screaming, cussing, like, embarrassing.
He was acting crazy, and because he was acting crazy, he woke up the whole neighborhood.
Well, he was drunk, going crazy outside, running around the apartment complex, so she called the cops on him.
That's what made my neighbor. Nothing comes good out of it, so.
Just something funny from the receipts that I was looking at. Some of them say, you know, the price really big on Venmo or Cash App, and then it just says completed at the bottom. On some of them, though, you could see heart emojis that the defendant sent thanking him, basically acknowledging that he received the money payment, sent a red heart emoji, and some of them were at very odd hours of the night, like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, some direct to Motel 6, some direct to other housing accommodations.
It's so interesting.
But I liked the receipts. I liked the
I never
paper trail.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
made it easy.
It's true. Mm-hmm. And because when people say I gave him cash, and
even with an ATM slip.
For a refund on concert tickets.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 2184, Garcia versus Pantene.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Ms. Garcia, it is your claim that you purchased some concert tickets through the defendant. You paid him for them.
Correct.
And you didn't get them.
Correct.
He has some story about you going on the wrong day. Okay. How do you know him?
Through a mutual friend.
How long do you know him?
Since September, when this mutual friend actually introduced us, and we engaged in this kind of concert ticket purchase.
No, you're getting ahead of yourself. You met him through a mutual friend. How?
We went out to a club.
Who went out to a club?
2 of my girlfriends and LP.
Went with him?
Yes.
Well, then one of your girlfriends knew him. You had not met him before?
No.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm an artist.
What kind of an artist?
Produce and sing.
You do that for a living for how long?
For 12 years.
You have family?
No, I'm by myself, yeah.
Who do you live with?
By myself and my dog.
Yourself and your dog?
Yeah, my dog, yeah.
What kind of a dog do you have?
I have a Jack Russell.
Okay. What do you know about securing tickets for concerts, music events. What do you know about it?
What do you mean by that? I don't understand
Well,
the
I
question.
know that if you're in the music business, let's say you want to go to a concert.
Okay.
You personally want to go to a concert with a friend.
Yeah.
How do you get the tickets?
It depends. You either purchase the ticket online if you want to pay the full price, or sometimes people have deal for ticket because they have in, and you get the ticket like that, and it's cheaper.
Okay. Now, I want you to tell me, Ms. Garcia, exactly how you contacted the defendant and told him that you wanted concert tickets and what you wanted concert tickets to.
So I text LP and I asked him, hey, I heard that you had concert tickets. And he said he did. He's like, oh, I have 2 concert tickets.
2 concert tickets. Bad Bunny was. So I looked it up and was actually astounded to find out that he is a very uber popular rapper.
So we were very, very excited.
Okay. Did you tell the defendant what you wanted the tickets for?
Yes, I told him I was going to celebrate my birthday, and it was also going to be a gift to my sister, and then my girlfriend, whose also's birthday is in October.
And
So
when
it was
is your
gonna be
birthday?
October 8th.
And did you tell him what date you wanted the tickets for?
He indicated that he had tickets for October 1st.
And he had 2 tickets for October 1st.
He at first had 2 tickets, and then later on said, oh, I have more tickets. And that's how I acquired 2 additional tickets.
Okay, so first you said he had 2 tickets for October 1st. Now, when she called you, you said, oh, I have 2 tickets. That's what she says.
Okay.
I have 2 tickets. Where did you get those 2 tickets from?
From someone who's close to the artist.
Give me the name.
Oh, his name is Clint.
Last name.
I don't know. I only see him in the club. I get ticket from him all the time.
Clint from what club?
He promote everywhere. Like he goes.
No, you said to me you got them from him at a club. I'm asking you what club.
Well, it can
Your
be-
Honor,
The name.
Actually, he had indicated that those were boxy tickets, and it was the owner of the boxy tickets that he was
never said that.
acquiring those tickets
Oh,
from.
I never said that.
The 2 tickets?
Oh, no, I
Yes.
never said
The
that.
2.
Yes.
I never said that. No.
I want you to tell me when she called you, how come you had 2 tickets for the concert that she wanted to go to? Were you going to go yourself?
The truth is, I always go to stuff like that because I have access to those tickets. Again, even if it's for sport or basketball, I always have access to those type of tickets.
So
If I request it, I know where to find it. So when her friend told me that, I said, yes, I can have access to those type of tickets. So maybe my language doesn't help with my grammar.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, so
That's
yes,
true. Maybe,
sorry for that.
Maybe it's problematic. It could be a little bit of my hearing, but it's also a little bit of your accent.
Yes, I have an accent.
Sometimes people don't understand my accent because I was born in Brooklyn, and they say to me, "What? We don't understand you." I understand that, but you understand that sometimes people could not.
If they misunderstand what I said.
Right.
That's true.
Okay. But she told you she wanted the tickets for October 1st. There's no question she wanted to go on October 1st because she says in her complaint that she also booked a hotel room. What hotel?
It was a Sheraton.
Where is the Sheraton located?
It's by LAX.
Where do you live?
Norwalk.
Norwalk is where?
Approximately 15 miles east of LAX off the 105.
Okay, so you wanted to stay over for the concert?
Yes. So just one correction, that my cousin was the one that paid for the stay.
And the hotel was taken for one night, and was that the night of October 1st?
Yes.
For October 1st, the night of the concert.
So all the girls were going to get together that night, have a little pre-celebration. We were going to Uber to the concert. We didn't want to drink and drive. So when we got to the concert, we would get another Uber and then come back. We just wanted to be safe.
When did Mr. Patine tell you that he got extra tickets? First he said he had 2.
And
Did he tell you how much the 2 tickets were?
Yes, he indicated $150 each ticket.
How much did you pay for them, sir?
Basically, give the.
Not basically.
Huh?
Not
No,
basically.
sorry,
How much? There's this question.
It was $150.
So you are telling me that you didn't make any money?
No, because I was friend with her friend. So I was just trying to be nice for her birthday. So no, I wasn't making any money on that. I will charge more for those tickets if I want to make money. For the price of it, I will pay way more than that.
Well,
they were in LA partying with us on the 2nd. We all drank, we partied.
Gigi Garcia claims club promoter Herman Petit owes her a refund for Bad Bunny concert tickets.
did you ask the defendant to send you a copy of the tickets?
I did on September
Just a sec.
16th.
On what date?
September 16th.
Do you have an email to that effect?
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at it.
And just so you know, there were 2 tour dates in Inglewood at the SoFi Stadium for Bad Bunny on both September 30th as well as October 1st.
Do you know how much he made, according to what I read yesterday? In his touring for the whole of the year, I read that his tour concert in 2022 was almost $400 million. Is that about right?
Yeah, it's the number one.
Almost $400 million.
Pretty darn close.
That's what I read. I was astounded, since I know Frank Sinatra is no longer with us, and there isn't anybody else that I would pay that kind of money to go and see. Okay, so you're in the music business and you have email. Is that right? You have an email? You have an email?
Yes, I have an
You
email.
have an iPhone?
Yes.
She asked you if you could send her copies of the tickets.
Okay.
Why didn't you send them?
Because I didn't have it at that time. I always
Oh, just a second.
Yes.
Because I didn't have them. That was September 16th. On what date did you get them and from whom?
I paid for the ticket on the Monday before the concert. The guy came to pick up the money on Monday night.
When the guy came to pick up the money Monday night before the event, did
Yeah. The wallet. When I received the ticket,
you
after
gave
that,
him the money. She sent you the money. How much money did she give you?
I was like 2,000.
Seven. How much money did you give him?
So the full amount was $1,215.
That's not
but
how
the
much
other,
she gave me, by the way.
no.
Just a minute. She's
well,
only suing for $715.
Yeah, so there were 2 other young ladies that also purchased, and I'm not including them in my case.
So this
just
is
mine, just what I paid.
You paid $715.
Correct.
He got more money for the tickets, but you just paid him $715.
Yeah. So these were for 6 tickets. 5 tickets for $150, 1 ticket for $165.
Okay. How did you communicate with the one person who you gave the tickets to? How did you communicate with that
Through
person?
phone. I call him.
Through the phone?
Yeah, I call
Your
him. He call
phone.
me.
So you have his name on your phone?
Yes.
Have you seen him since October?
He disappeared for a while. After that.
Just a second. He disappeared for a while after you say that you gave him the money.
I was in contact with them and her friend. I gave her the number because I couldn't reach out to him. And
second, that sounds like a lot of Who Shot John. You were able to reach out to him when you wanted to give him money, allegedly, but then he disappeared.
Basically,
just a second, is he still disappeared?
No, he's still not disappeared. But
well, where is he now?
I don't know. I haven't spoken with him.
Since when?
Since maybe like December.
Why?
Because I have nothing to tell him. She sued me. So
well, just a second.
Yeah.
What did you tell him about the tickets?
He said we made a mistake on the day. It was for Friday, and they went to for Saturday. So on that, he got mixed up, and I get blamed for that. That's not fair.
Absolutely. She didn't deal with Clint. She dealt with you.
But this is why I give them the number, so they can call him directly. I did that.
But the deal was not with him. It was with you.
You don't have to answer.
Sorry.
But
you don't have to answer.
Actually, they talked to him directly.
She doesn't want to talk to him directly. She didn't deal with...
I wasn't even talking to her.
She didn't deal...
I wasn't talking to her. Her something I do, and even that I give some half of the money back to her because I feel bad about the situation.
Just a second. When did you give her back half the money?
I think 2 weeks after.
Just a second. Did he give you back any money?
He gave us $500 out of 8.
Just a second. I don't care. He gave you back $500 because he felt badly.
And it was her birthday, and they were harassing me.
Did you give her the $500 directly?
No, because I wasn't.
No. Who did you give the $500?
To her friend, because I wasn't talking to her.
To a friend?
To her friend, because I wasn't talking to her.
Just a second. Your friend only, you said, paid for 2 tickets. Mm-hmm. Well, 2 tickets at most could have been $300.
Correct.
Did your friend give you back $200?
She did.
Okay.
So I am requesting the remainder, which is $715. And that's what we had texted him on October 10th. We had asked him to pay the full amount. This is the text where...
I want to see what he said to you.
No, he did not respond to me.
He did not?
Mm-mm.
Can I tell why?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because her friend was starting threatening me, sending crazy message text when we used to be friends, and it could be resolved another way. And when she starts sending me lawyer crazy email, I'm not answering. So I say, do what you got to do, and that's it.
I mean, if you would have responded.
Just a second. So if there was a mix-up, that was a mix-up that was not her mix-up because she clearly made it her business to book a room in order to go to the October 1st concert. So that was clear. It wasn't just going to the concert. It was going to be a whole evening. What do you want, and who are you?
I'm a witness to it all.
He speaks better than me, so this is why I would like him to come, so that it might be easier for me.
Your Honor, my name's Imad. How are you? She said she booked. We all drank, we partied, we went to a club. He felt bad for him and got a bottle service, and I have on video.
No, he didn't.
Just
He
a
got
second.
bottle
Just a
service,
second.
But it
I have on
wasn't from
video.
him.
I have on video.
I have on video because that's what we do.
feel bad.
Yeah, but that wasn't part of the deal.
Don't speak.
Sorry.
We have on video of them all partying with us on the 2nd. So they only.
So on the 2nd, by this time you knew you weren't going to the concert.
Yeah, I was
He says
expecting
it was
my money that night.
What?
I was expecting my money. Like, there was a mix-up. Okay, now where's our money? So we met up. They told me, hey, you know what? LP feels really bad. There was a mistake. I'm like, okay, cool. But where's my money? Because I got to pay my cousin, my sister. I got to pay my friends. I have that responsibility. They entrusted me with money, and therefore I had that responsibility. They're not going to come after him.
Okay. The tickets were for Friday night, sir. And you say you went there on Friday night.
No, you get confused on that. I wasn't going to the concert.
No, to give them the tickets. How are they supposed to get the tickets?
How do I know that? I have other stuff to do.
Just a second. Stop. I'm going to...
Gigi Garcia is accusing club promoter Herman Petit of purchasing Bad Bunny concert tickets for the wrong day.
Where is Clint? Speak. Where is Clint? I thought you were a witness to everything.
I met him when he was giving him the money. We were at his house
Just a
having
second.
drinks.
Okay, so let's slow down a second. Because you said I'm a witness to everything and I speak better than he does.
Yeah, sometimes.
So the Monday before the concert.
Correct.
You were with Clint.
I was with LP. I was with him. We were at his apartment watching Monday
And
Night
Clint
Football.
was there.
No, he called him, and then he asked me to come down with him. We went downstairs, and I never met the guy, and he gave him some money.
No, just a second.
Yeah.
So you were with him.
Yeah.
When he went downstairs and met Clint.
Correct.
Okay. And when he handed Clint the money, how much money did...
For the fact, I was like...
What did he... Let's go back. So now you're upstairs watching Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And does he get a call from Clint, or does he call Clint?
He was calling him earlier.
Okay, so he was calling Clint earlier.
Yeah.
And when he went down and gave him the money, did Clint give him anything?
No, he did not.
Well, then what was the discussion that he had?
From what I heard was he...
Don't make it up as you're going along.
No.
Don't make it up. It's very bad.
And...
It's very bad if you make things up.
No.
Okay, so if you either you heard it or you didn't.
He gave him the money, and I guess it was for the tickets, because he was telling me earlier that he was getting somebody's tickets. And I'm like, I've never met her before or her friends until the night of when we all went to the club, because I was at his house. Yeah. We were drinking. Her friends came over and everything that we're supposed to go.
And it was at that time, was that the time that he gave them back $500?
No, I don't know about that.
When did you give them back $500?
I think 2 weeks after. I can check if you want to tell the exact date. But I think 2 weeks after. And again, I did that out of my kindness. I don't want to give anything because that's not my fault. But I'm like, I feel bad. They were on me. I'm like, you know what? Here's something. He's a jester. That's what I can do. And even that, I was even willing to work with them. And I told her friends...
I don't think it was their mistake, by the way.
Huh?
I don't think it was their mistake. They were girls going out to celebrate. They'd planned a whole evening and day of going out to celebrate. They got to the concert. You weren't there on the 1st, because it's your claim that they got the date confused, that they were supposed to go Friday night, the 30th. That's what you say. You were there Friday night. You say you went there on Friday night.
Went where?
To the concert, to give them the tickets.
No, you get confused on that. I wasn't going to the concert.
No, to give them the tickets. How are they supposed to get the tickets?
How do I know that? I have other stuff to do.
Just a second. How are they supposed to... Hey, stop. I'm going to use him as a translator.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
No. You hadn't sent them the tickets on the day of the concert. According to your answer, sir, on the day of the concert, which was on September 30th, which would have been what was on the tickets, I waited for Gigi and her friends, but they never showed up. Pay attention to me. So if you went there on Friday to give them the tickets, that's what you say.
I'm talking about my house. Sure, how?
I'm reading to you what you swore to and what you signed in an answer. You say you're in a business for 12 years.
But I don't have people work for me.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Then you should have shown them your answer. What you said in your answer was...
Okay, my bad. Mistake for that.
Not my bad. On the day of the concert, I waited for Gigi and her friends to come and get their tickets, but they never showed up. The next day, I finally got on the phone with Gigi. Now, did she call you or did you call her?
I called her friend in the morning at like maybe 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. There's a mistake. I called her friend.
Okay, so you called her friend. Now, if you got there and they weren't there, you had her friend's. You had her friend's number, right?
It's not that.
You said I have.
It's not. That's not what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is, I just read you what you.
No, but I try to explain you. I wasn't at the concert visit, even on the Saturday. For the ticket.
How was she supposed to get the tickets?
She come to my house, and that's it.
Okay, $715. Judgment for the plaintiff. I think you're full of baloney.
This court is adjourned.
I thought that was really fair. I mean, when you enter a verbal contract.
And I give something just out of my kindness, she would just take that. Asia wasn't the bad person on that.
That same night, he had indicated that he felt really bad, yada, yada, yada. And we thought, hey, it's legit. We're going to get our money back that night. And he's like, oh, let's meet up at this club or at this, it was a restaurant, then club. And it was.
I went up a party with somebody that just screwed me out of tickets.
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense. It's like if somebody screws you out of money, you going to go party with them? Highly doubtful.
It doesn't matter. That wasn't part of the deal. The deal was concert tickets for this amount of money. No concert tickets, I get my money back. Plain and simple.
It's over. For a favor for friends, yeah.
So we're having this discussion, you and I interpreted that sentence as he waited for them at the concert to give him the tickets. You point out that that sentence could also be interpreted, I waited at my house for them to come and pick up the tickets. Either way, Sarah, the right thing to do is if you've got $1,000 of somebody's money, because there's no question that this guy took a vig for himself, and if they don't come, and if your friend is a friend of hers, then you call at 5 o'clock at night and say, you know, I have your tickets here. Yeah. Where are you? He doesn't. The next day, he calls his friend and says, you got the dates mixed up. Yeah. Instead of calling at 4 o'clock. So either way, to me, it doesn't make
I agree
any difference.
with your final ruling. If he was sitting on the $1,000 that he had and tickets that he knew were for the wrong day, the friend deserved to call that day in the morning.
Or maybe he didn't have any.
Or maybe he didn't have any tickets. I'm not disagreeing. I just think that one point you hung your hat on about either being at the concert or being at home was sort of a minuscule point if he didn't have the tickets at all.
Yeah, and I don't think he had the tickets at all.
I agree.
If he did have the tickets, one way or another, he would have.
And a lawnmower.
Court current order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 2148, Smith versus Smith.
Thank you. You're welcome. Miss Smith, this used to be your husband. You haven't been married in a long time, but after your divorce, you sort of remained friendly and you had some business transactions together. What kind of business?
I would refer real estate business to him and refer flipping homes and the construction work.
Did you take part in that as well?
I did.
In what year were you divorced?
2015.
So this briefly is what I gather from the complaint and the answer in the counterclaim. At some point, according to you, you purchased 3 ATVs. Those 3 ATVs were originally supposed to be used in business.
We purchased more than 3.
How many did you purchase?
Those were the 3 that were left. It was 14 of them that we had.
And when you purchased those together as part of a business?
No, those were mine. I purchased it. The business.
14.
Business was mine. Yes.
14?
Yes.
You purchased them, you paid for them?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and you can prove that to me?
I can.
Okay. Do you agree with the fact your former wife purchased the 14 ATVs?
Yes, I agree, but it was underneath an LLC that was formed.
I don't care whether it was under an LLC or a little umbrella or a big shoe. She bought the ATVs.
Yes.
So one of the things that's in question is the ATVs now are in your custody?
The remaining ones are in my home, yes.
3?
Yes, ma'am.
And you want them back?
I do.
She bought them. Why doesn't she get them back?
Because, Your Honor, there is an outstanding invoice for work that I have done for her.
What?
It's construction work and other odds and ends that was helping her.
That claim.
You have a counterclaim. That has to do with your truck. So there really is no reason that you are holding those ATVs. Are they new?
No, they were demonstrator models. There's one new one and two demonstrators.
Okay. So within 5 days, you make arrangements to get those. Okay? I assume that you have children together?
No.
So I assume that you are two civilized people. I don't know whether you need a police officer to accompany you to get those. But within 5 days, make arrangements to pick them up from his house. They're yours.
I will. Thank you.
Are we then finished with your claim?
Now, there's a lawnmower, an electric zero-turn lawnmower. Okay. It's also part of that claim.
Okay. I sort of remember that. Is that an old lawnmower?
No, it was purchased in May of 2021.
And who was it purchased for?
He asked me, since he could not get it on credit, if I would buy it for him, and the next real estate transaction that I referred him, he said when he got paid, he would pay me the $4,800 back.
Okay.
And so when I asked for it, he said he had put it in a separate savings account to save it for me. And I said, well, I don't need you to save me my money.
Got it. So you have the lawnmower?
Yes, ma'am.
You picked that up with the ATVs.
Thank you.
Got it?
Thank you.
Perfect. Now we have to come to your counterclaim. Your counterclaim is sort of interesting and can be, I think, probably equally swiftly disposed of. After your divorce, you needed a truck. You didn't have any money or credit, according to what I've read, and you purchased it's on the truck because you couldn't get credit. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
The truck was purchased in what month and year?
August of 2020.
How much did the truck cost?
$58,000, somewhere in there.
And how much of a down payment did you put down?
$500.
Is that right?
Yes.
That's good. You must have had good credit.
I do.
Good. And what were the monthly payments, sir?
900 and I can't remember exactly. It was under 1,000. It was 940 something dollars, I think.
And you paid for the truck the month of August of 2020 and all through 2021. Until when? When was your last payment on the truck that you made, that you can prove to me that you made?
I have all the payments.
Just tell me, when was the last payment you made on the truck?
It was August of this year.
August of 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what your bank records will indicate, that you made a payment of $900 and some odd, August of 2022. And in what month did your former wife repossess the truck, which was in her name?
It was September 20th.
Now you're going to tell me why you repossessed the truck. Let's talk about the violations. Driving without tags, only 2 months. When we forget or we're traveling and we don't get registrations for our cars, we don't drive those cars. Because if you're driving with expired tags, that's against the law.
Terry Smith claims her ex-husband, Tony Smith, owes for 3 ATVs and a lawnmower. Tony is countersuing for the value of a truck.
Okay, you made a payment of $900, which was in her name.
It was September 20th.
Okay, now you're going to tell me why you repossessed the truck.
Yes, that truck's first payment was due on October 30th of 2020. I made the payment on November 28th.
No, I'm not interested in history.
Okay.
I'm interested in, he says that he was making payments on the truck. You say he stopped making payments on the truck, which is why you repossessed it. You didn't want your credit to be at risk.
It was 2 of the first payments that I made, and I said, I'm not doing this again like I did on the last truck where I make every payment. But the insurance, I asked for the insurance to be paid since April of 2020, and I requested this on June the 28th of 2022, and I said, here's the insurance premiums I've paid on the GMC truck since we've had it, and it was $1,596. His reply was, I'm happy to pay the insurance on my truck, but don't just dump 2.5 years on me at a time. I will need to break this up into 3 increments. This was June. I don't have any money. The insurance and taxes, the taxes this year is the first time he's ever paid taxes on the vehicle, and it was 1 year late. He drove on an expired tag for a total year. The reason
is that just a second, is that correct?
I'm sorry?
Did you drive on an expired tag
No,
for a
ma'am,
year?
it was only a few months late.
So you drove
It wasn't an entire year.
How many months?
2 months.
Well, that's too long.
I agree.
And was your agreement that you would maintain the insurance for the truck as well?
That was something that we discussed, and because of the real reason she actually agreed to purchase the truck, we had a partial insurance rate, so she felt that it would benefit her to get another truck and come out from under the commercial rate that she was paying for insurance, and she was going to put it in a group insurance policy.
Where is the truck? Where is the truck? You've had possession of the truck.
That's correct.
So you get all the benefit of the truck, and she gets all the detriment.
I'm just referring to what
I'm just what I'm not getting from you, sir, is any sense of the whole idea was this is going to be my truck. As soon as I finish making all the payments on the truck is going to be mine, right?
That's correct.
And if you didn't make payments on the truck, absolutely, she has a right to repossess it if that was your agreement, and you acknowledge that that's your agreement. Right?
That is the agreement, but I have made every payment, and I have paid all the taxes.
Well, the word paid all the taxes eventually. Didn't pay them when due.
That happened once.
Didn't pay them when due, pay them eventually. What about the insurance?
The insurance, I agreed to catch up and pay her back for once she told me what it was.
Okay.
I never received any information about the insurance amount until she sent it all in one.
Okay, she sent it to you in one email. That was in June, and you said I couldn't pay it, and she repossessed the car in September. Between June and September, did you make any insurance payment?
No, I did not.
Why?
It was a lot of things going on at that time that there was money owed to me as well from her. So it was a lot of discussion going back and forth about that.
Well, but one thing is clean. You know about the insurance, and if there's money that she owes you from construction or real estate or whatever it is, you have to put that in compartments. Where is the truck? You had the truck for approximately 2 years?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much in total did you pay for the truck?
The exact amount added up was $18,736.
So you paid approximately $9,000 a year, right?
Correct.
Your Honor, we had an agreement of $1,200 a month on the truck to cover the insurance and taxes up front before it was purchased.
That's not true.
Well, if you paid approximately $9,000, Mr. Smith, and you used it for business, correct? That's what you used the truck for. So you paid approximately $750 a month if you paid $9,000 each year for the 2 years, $1,870. You say the payments were $900 a month. That means that there was a shortfall.
Can I bring us? It was more than 2 years. It was August of 2020 until
September.
August of this year.
Well, that's 2 years.
There's also a down payment
of $500. I'm not.
Okay.
So that's $750, sir. I always have a problem with people who are no longer married and no longer happy with each other, where one party has the obligation and has all the liability on a vehicle, including their credit and their insurance, when the other person is being either irresponsible or blinking at certain violations. Let's talk about the violations. Driving without tags for our cars. We don't drive those cars. Because if you're driving with expired tags, that's against the law.
I would like to point out, if I may, that the bill for that obviously went to her address. It was not given to me. Now, that's not my. I understand that I need to be aware of it, but I never received that bill.
I gave it to him the very month it came in.
Just a second.
That's not true.
Just a second. You're a big boy. You know, when your car has to be registered, you have a little yellow tag on the back like everybody else. And insurance, you know, you're supposed to pay insurance. That was your agreement. You were supposed to pay insurance. And you didn't pay insurance. She's going to show me how much was left on the loan and how much she sold the truck for. If she sold the truck for more than was left on the loan, the difference between, if look.
Smith is accusing ex-husband Tony Smith of wrongfully keeping 3 ATVs and a lawnmower. Tony claims Terry owes him for the cost of a truck.
Okay, well, are you working now, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. She sold the truck. How much did you sell it for?
$48,000.
And how much was left on the loan?
48. It was even.
Well, show me.
It was even. Oh.
I'd like to see that.
Ooh.
So $48,000 was, he paid $18,000.
Hang on one second, I got it.
Can I submit this to you?
What is that?
Or this, my bank statement showing the payment?
No, you told me. I
Okay.
accepted it.
Okay.
She doesn't dispute it, and I accept it.
I do have a copy of the title here somewhere.
What I'm looking for, Mr. Smith, just so that you know, what I'm having her look for me, she's going to show me how much was left on the loan and how much she sold the truck for. If she sold the truck for more than was left on the loan, the difference between, you're looking at me, the difference between that belongs to you.
Oh, I see.
Because you paid it, right?
He went and bought a truck 2 days later, so he was able to buy a truck.
Okay.
I mean,
would you find those papers for me while you're looking for those papers for me? Mr. Smith, did you buy another truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Did you put a down payment on it?
Yes, ma'am.
And you own it now?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're driving it now?
That's correct.
What would you do with a second truck?
Well, I was forced to buy one because I
understand you were. I understand you were forced to buy one, sir. But if you had the truck and you weren't going to use two trucks, you would sell this truck for whatever amount you sold it for, and if there was any overage, you'd get to.
I offered to purchase the truck from her. In fact, she understood that I was planning to purchase the truck from her.
Don't tell me what she understood. Right now, you don't need a truck, and I'm going to find out whether or not she has to give you any money as a result of what she sold the truck for.
This bill of sale does not have the amount on it. I didn't realize that. I'll have to get that from.
Well, this is the time to get it.
I'm sorry, I did not realize it didn't have it on there.
Okay. Oh, you sold it to a company?
I did.
Oh, okay. Not to a private party?
No.
Is that the same company that you purchased it from?
No, I purchased it from a different dealership.
Okay. Do you have the exact amount that the loan, the extant loan was?
The original loan was $60,000.
No.
I'm sorry. The exit loan?
Yeah, the exit.
It was between $48,000 and $49,000, give or take. Hang on.
And the truck was, and the truck?
That's the difference of what they gave me. I originally put the down payment on that truck as well. He did not.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, that was the difference they gave me in the sale.
Okay, so this is the difference.
Yes.
Between what was on the loan.
Exactly.
Between what was on the loan.
Exactly.
And this. Okay, so the excess, sir, was $2,225. She put in the deposit for the truck when it was originally purchased of $500?
She did not.
Yes.
Who did?
I did, and I have a copy. I have that in this record right here.
Show me.
We added tires. We added all kinds of extra stuff and everything to it. I paid for that.
I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
This is actually.
Just show me.
It's on my phone. Can I show it? Can I?
From 2020?
Yes, what had happened, the amount actually came off of this statement copy.
Let me see.
Can I submit this too, where I made the 2 payments on the truck? When he first started, I made the very second payment and the 4th payment on that truck because he wouldn't make it. I also notified him on June the 20th that he had 30 days to get the truck in his name, and I never heard anything.
You can't notify him within 30 days to get it in his name. That's not the agreement. Let me see.
Yeah. There's this.
Yellow.
Yep. Purchased authorized August 22nd, and this is 2020 for $500. Okay, so the difference of the $500 that came out of your account brings the total excess that she received $1,725. She's coming to pick up her lawnmower within 5 days and her 3 ATVs. At the same time, she's going to give you $1,725, which is the difference between what was owed on the truck and the profit that was made that she.
I think it was fair.
Well, it was a little less than I thought I was going to get back from it, and there's a lot more to the story that obviously I couldn't get in.
Well, I mean, I had the truth, so.
She understands why that is because there's an outstanding invoice from me for work that I've done that she's refusing to pay for.
I have supported him since 2003.
Construction work, I did a lot of planning and helping her with her current home that she's living in.
It is just one thing after another, and I could never owe him one dime.
I mean, everything was fine between us.
Has trauma bonded me and manipulated me and gaslit me for all these years and kept me around just in case other relationships didn't work out.
Until she found out I was seeing someone else.
No, no, no. I had been asking for everything of mine that he kept and held hostage for a long time before that, but he's probably had many more before that. I just didn't know about them.
But I'm happy.
I was thinking he was making me think that we were reconciling while he was using me.
I don't see us talking anymore.
The bank is finally closed, and the bad bargain has just been a nightmare. It's been hundreds of bad bargains.
No more business ventures.
You see, it's always a mistake, unless you're married, to co-sign a loan for anybody, a boyfriend, a somebody.
An ex-husband.
Especially an ex-husband.
Yeah. Because I think what you said was true. There's always one person that gets no benefit and gets slighted and has their name on the line for their credit for future purchases that they want to make, and the guy who gets to drive the truck.
Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với những video tô màu tranh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình có một bức tranh về một cô nàng trông khá là cá tính nhé. Bây giờ thì mình cùng các bạn sẽ tô màu cho bức tranh của ngày hôm nay thật đẹp nha. Trước tiên thì chúng mình sẽ tô màu cho phần lông mày và đôi môi. Đôi môi thì mình sẽ sử dụng là màu đỏ. Bây giờ thì sẽ tô màu để đôi hoa tai nhé. Mình sẽ lựa chọn màu hơi tím tím. Bây giờ thì sẽ tô màu để mái tóc. Mái tóc thì mình sẽ lựa chọn là màu nâu để tô. Đã tô xong một bên tóc, mình sẽ tô nốt bên còn lại. Mái tóc đã được tô màu xong nha. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu vàng để tô cho chiếc áo crop top ở phía bên trong. Bây giờ thì sẽ tô màu chiếc áo khoác ở phía bên ngoài. Mình sẽ sử dụng là màu xanh lá đậm để tô cho chiếc áo. quên tô màu cho cái phần sau áo nên là mình sẽ tô vào. Đến đây thì bức tranh của mình cũng đã hoàn thiện xong. Cảm ơn mọi người đã theo dõi video này của mình. Xin chào và cảm ơn mọi người đã theo dõi video này của mình và hãy ủng hộ mình ở các video tiếp theo nhé. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại.